I am Dana K. White, author of Decluttering at the Speed of Life, and I'm here to talk about paper clutter. In fact, I'm here to tell you how I have solved my lifelong struggle, fight, chronic disorganization with paper. It's fixed. I know, right? It's saying a lot, and I'm pretty sure that in the past I have said I would never do this video, but here I am doing it because even though I didn't think I could ever truly have a paper organizing system, okay, I had reduced paper so much. So if this overwhelms you, go watch my video about reducing paper. It will take you far just to reduce the paper in your home. But I've gone to the next level, all right? And I did this because of the Take Your House Back course. I am one of the teachers in that course. I teach my decluttering strategies. We apply it, blah, blah, blah. But I have learned from the course as well, from Dawn, from The Minimal Mom, and Cas from Clutter, who also happens to be the host of an HGTV show called Hot Mess House, right? Okay. Anyway, their teachings on paper organization have changed how I do things. And I am so incredibly thankful for that. So I'm going to tell you today what it is that I have done to change my relationship with clutter. But I want to tell you that what's so great about the way that they teach paper is that they totally acknowledge that you have to find what works for you. Okay? But they don't just go, everybody has to find what works for them. No, they then give you very definite principles to follow to find what works for you. Okay? So they have so much to teach on this, but I'm going to tell you what is working for me. And it's been working for 3 months, which I know is not a lifetime, and I will report if and when I fail at this. But I'm just going to tell you this is the best I've done with paper ever in my whole life. And I look at it and go, yeah, that's actually maintainable. All right, so here we go. Couple of things that are the keys that I learned from Dawn and Cas in the Take Your House Back course, which just happens to be open right now if you're watching this in real time. Here we go. Set up a system for incoming mail first. That is everything. Instead of catching up on the months or years or decades or generations worth of paper, go ahead and set up a very simple system for the mail that is coming into your house. So that's what I did. I followed the advice of Dawn and Cas and went with the fewest number of categories I possibly could. Okay? So this is one of Cas's big things is she's like, don't over organize your paper. Go with broad categories because it is going to make it simpler and easier and more of something that you can actually keep going with. Okay. So I have 3 categories of paper. All right. I have to do. In this are things like driver's license information for somebody whose driver's license is going to be renewed soon. I have car registration, bills, things like that. Okay. To do, if something comes into our house and it's a to do, it goes in this right here, which means that things are going to be leaving it quickly. Okay. Because as those things get done, they don't need to be in there anymore. I believe Dawn calls this her action file. All right. This right here is the one that made me go, oh yeah, I think that could work. And it is a wait and see file. Okay. So there are some things that we're thinking about doing, like bids or people that we were maybe going to work with on something. And these are the things that we need that we don't know for sure this is going to happen, but we need those papers if it ends up happening. So this is a wait and see file. Again, that's something that can be gone through and stuff removed from it pretty easily on a regular basis. And then this right here is my 2021 file. Okay. So that is anything that is significant specifically for this year. So like we have some maintenance things done on our house that, you know, they rip off the paper and give us this that says, hey, this proves that you've done this in case you were ever to sell your house or to keep the maintenance thing going, warranties, whatever. That's where that goes. That's our 2021 file. Anything else that would fit into that, okay, this is something we need to keep for this year, that goes in there. Okay. So 3 basic broad categories. And I was like, is that really going to capture everything though? Shouldn't we have like 50 categories? But I tried it because I took their advice and it works. Now let me tell you how this really changes things in my home. So what I used to do, which it works as far as reducing paper in your home. So if you're completely overwhelmed, go with that. What I had was a paper-sized tub that I kept in on a certain counter in my kitchen, where it wasn't like a place where I cooked or anything. Where if anything came in that looked like it needed to be kept, it would go in that tub. Okay. So one of my biggest changes that I made years ago that really changed the amount of paper in our home was simply to always be the one who got the mail, which is not always fun, but I can trust myself to not put it on the table, instead to go through it immediately. And generally, if there's 10 pieces of mail, I get rid of 8. Or if there are 6 pieces of mail, I get rid of 5, or maybe all 6, or whatever. But that in and of itself, just going straight to the trash can, recycling bin immediately, means that there was so much less paper in my house. Okay. And then I had that paper-sized tub that I put the important stuff in, and then that was a container. And as it got full, it triggered that I needed to go through that. Okay. But when I have 3 specific categories here, it changes things. So when I bring in the stuff, yes, there's 10 pieces of mail. I can easily get rid of 8, no problem. But if I'm going to put it in one of these spots, because these spots are containers, they're limited spaces, and I also don't want them to fall off the wall because I don't really trust myself on hanging stuff on the wall. Because of that, I'm like, well, I want to be sure that I really do need to keep this, like that it really does need to go in the to-do or the wait and see or the 2021 file. And so it makes me open up envelopes. Well, there were a lot of important looking envelopes that used to go into that tub that it turns out they're not really that important. Sometimes there are things that maybe legally have to be sent, like and I'm not giving any kind of advice on getting rid of paper here necessarily on specifics. It might be something like some kind of legal declaration of, terms and rights of the consumer and blah, blah, blah. What looks important, right? I mean, it looked important and it was specifically from something that, yes, we actually had. And so it would go in that container. Well, when I actually open it up, because I'm like, well, I don't want to put it in there unless it really has to go there. It forced me to open it up, and I saw, oh, this is something I can look at and then I'm done. I don't actually have any reason to keep it. And so I went from 10 pieces to 2 pieces to actually 10 pieces to like almost usually no pieces, or maybe 1. So, I mean, like it's been really surprising to me how just having specific categories to put things in forces me to go ahead and open those things up. And I'm like, I'm not putting them down anywhere between the mailbox and right here. Okay. So I feel an urgency to go ahead and open those things and know for sure do they need to go in here, because I don't want to put them down in a temporary spot, because that's how bad things happen. Okay. So that has really changed everything. Okay. Just having that, it goes with that same decluttering principle that I teach, which is look, always look. Like so many times I assume something's important. I assume something is, it's going to be a decision I have to make or some kind of action I have to take. But when I force myself to look, I find out a lot of the time that actually there's nothing for me to do there and it can just go. Okay. Like it just is shocking how often just looking at something changes everything. Okay. The other thing that happened when I had 3 categories. Now, I love the advice to go ahead and set up a system for stuff coming in. I did that. And then on one of those days where I was like, I think I'm going to declutter something today, I think because I had been doing this, my brain went, I think I'm going to deal with that pile of papers over there. Pile of papers that I really I just hate dealing with and I didn't want to deal with. But because I was feeling more in control of paper, I thought, I'm just going to do that. But I gave myself permission, as I always do when you're overwhelmed, to just look, go through, get rid of anything that is obviously trash. No, I'm not going to tell myself I'm going to make decisions. I'm just going to try to reduce that, okay? Because I'm doing better with paper, and so I'm just going to try to reduce that. Well, y'all, having these 3 categories in my brain as, yes, I have experienced the fact that everything coming in could basically somehow fit in those 3 categories, it made going through that paper so easy. Like, it was shocking to me that once I felt confident in the 3 categories and the broad categories, and that's actually maintainable for me, then it made going through old papers so much easier and so much faster. Okay. And I got through all, and I was tired from standing up, but I got through all of my paper that had been backlogged forever. I mean, like, it was amazing to me how setting up the system first then made it like so much easier for me to get rid of the old stuff that was overwhelming because it was in a pile. Okay. The other thing I want to talk about is the vertical storage. Okay. So Cass has 4 clutter bag styles. Okay. So she is passionate about you finding your organizing style that actually works for your brain type and is maintainable for you. So I am a butterfly. Cass will explain to you all that. Okay. You can go take your quiz on her website, clutterbug.me. Okay. But one of her things for my organizing style is that I need to have vertical storage. Okay. Because the way I operate, I need to be able to see it. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't love the way that this looked at first. Like at first I was like, I don't love the way that looks. But once it started working really well, I was more okay with how it looked. Okay. I also added these blue things just so that it's not a jumble of papers in there. I might have preferred to have white, but whatever, it doesn't matter because it's working so well, and just the way I am, my brain finally got used to seeing it. But I have it in here. We don't have an established office space in my house. We've chosen to devote the spaces in our homes to the things that we need more, like a game room, living room, all that kind of stuff, because my house is a container and the space that it has is the space that it has. So I didn't really have a place designated for that, but in this room, I'm okay with it, even though I don't necessarily love it. I'm okay with it because guests basically never come in here. If they did come in here, the door would be open, okay, and would cover that up anyway. So yeah, okay. But she is absolutely right about vertical working better for me on stuff like this. On things that just need to be put places, okay? She likes the open top system so that there's not like an extra step of you pulling off a lid and then putting it in there. But the vertical storage means that it stays separated, okay? Where horizontal storage means it can end up in one big pile, which is where my natural tendency goes. So this helps prevent that. So she's so right on this. And horizontal means it can get knocked off, whatever other things can easily be put there on top of a pile, where this is more purposeful in its vertical storage. So my point in this video is to share with you what has made a huge, huge difference for me in dealing with paper clutter. Like, I feel in control of my paper clutter for the first time in basically my whole life. Y'all, the Take Your House Back course is so great. I know, I'm selling it to you. It's my course. I am one of the instructors in the course. But I'm just telling you, we hear it from other people. This is my own personal experience learning from the other instructors on something that has driven me crazy forever, okay? Is actually getting a system in place for my paper. And I've finally done that because of them. So my point is, this course is amazing. I mean, we have had so much amazing feedback on this. In the description of this video, I am putting one of your comments from last week, because I just casually mentioned that the course was going to be opening soon and had a lot of comments of people saying how much they love this course. And one of them, I felt like just covered all the bases. Okay. I mean, basically was talking about, I wasn't for sure because I'm not on Facebook. Was it actually going to be worth it? Totally worth it. Okay. Because the Facebook group is there, but all the content is in the course. You go through it self-paced, as you can, as you need to. You are not on somebody else's schedule, okay? And the Facebook group is a great bonus, but you can totally do it if you don't want to be in the Facebook group. That's perfectly fine. And she just said, yes, I wondered if this was going to be an issue. It wasn't. Still totally worth it to her. She also had watched the 3 of us for a really long time, or read our books, blog posts, blah, 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 and was like, am I really going to learn something new? And she said, absolutely. The 3 of us together, we talk through things, we teach things as a group. And it's just a different level. Like, there's something special about this. And I know some of y'all are like, I'm just selling stuff again. Oh my word. Don't get it if you don't need it. But if you're thinking about it, I mean, it's changing people's homes, and it makes me so happy. Like, it makes me so incredibly happy that this course exists. And we're each doing our special thing, and then we're coming together to make it all come together. So I am all about decluttering. I mean, decluttering is everything. And we all know you have to declutter before you can organize anyway. Okay. Dawn brings minimalism to such a realistic place for real people. Okay. Like whatever your unique life situation is, she makes it very realistic and makes it something that's very useful instead of intimidating. And then Cass comes in with her amazing take on organizing. I mean, organizing is one of those things that, yes, you need it. And I'm not the one to talk about it. But I can give you to Cass and go, yes, she gets it. She gets that we're all different. She has her system. She has her reasons why you need to find your own way that will work. And then she gives you practical ways to do that. So I think you're going to love it. Go check it out. If you are watching this in real time, you can sign up for that. We are going to have a day-long declutter event within the course on September 18th. But if you're watching this later, either go see if it's available, if the course is still available right now when you're watching this, or go get on the wait list so that the next time it opens, you'll be notified. Okay? All right. Go check out takeyourhouseback.com, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye.